PaySafeCard, Logitech G, and Hacks.
Welcome back, everyone, to ESL One Katowice. The sun is currently shining down on our wonderful city, although it's a bit nippy outside. Good job, it's really warmed up inside, with 3 of our 6 matches already complete today. 3 teams making their way through to the upper bracket, 3 into the lower bracket, all 1 life away from leaving early. Sad times. But we're going to move on to our 4th game now. It's our final game of the best of 1 series. And my goodness, it's a cracker. 2 stunning teams with world esports multi-gaming organisation reputations on the line. It's NaVi versus Fnatic. And we're going to start things off with NaVi, with our panel as we welcome back Nahaz, who was the problem, obviously. And we have Purge and Fogged. How you doing? They were so mean to you, Alan. You probably didn't see it. I was defending you.
Sure.
He brought it up.
He brought it up.
He brought it up.
Yeah, that's a bit of a problem if you did see. Sorry about that, Alan. I wanted to do a bit of a quiz, boys. I'll do a bit of a quiz. Now we've got 2 new players. One we know a lot about because it's Lil, who's transferred over in place of Roger. They've kind of done a role switch thing and switched teams. The other one is a maturer kind of player who's come along called LeBron Dota. Anyone ideas how old he is?
Oh, gosh. He's like 24?
26.
27.
Really?
He is 1 year lower than Fogged. 1 year younger, and he's just starting out his pro career, effectively. Yeah,
He's been trying to punch in for a while.
He has been playing a lot of Dota for a long time, but where's he come from?
I know one of his teams, we were saying it was Elements before, and he's played with a lot of like Serbian teams and Croatian teams. He's played a lot of like mixed joints with them, but I don't remember the other one, the recent one.
Transferred in from Spider, that well-known to Spider Pig, with all due respect, not a tier 1 team, but
definitely not.
Transfers in. This guy's won $6,407 in his career. That's actually less than you.
Can you stop ripping? Can you stop? Can he stop? It's every event. It's every event.
Well, I started slow this morning, and you guys got an easy in, and I thought I might step it up. It is. I have small man syndrome. That's all it is.
Unbelievable.
But I'm taller than him anyway, so I don't know how that works. But this guy has come from like. He's just not royalty in terms of Dota, and I don't mean that disrespectively, he just hasn't done it, and yet at the age of 27 proves, and I'm really thrilled about this, that at any age you can come and make it as a professional gamer.
I'm glad he at least is given a chance here. I've actually known the guy for like maybe even 10 years or something like that, back to Dota 1. He's on my friends list, I've talked to him a lot actually in the past, not lately, not in the past like 4 years or so, but I'm glad he's actually given the opportunity now to step up and maybe play for a different team, because there was a while where he was like playing Earth Spirit a lot of times, and people were like, "Damn, this guy's on the rise. Maybe he will actually get a team." Now he finally did.
Yeah, and the addition of Lil, how do you gents view that? I mean, most people have looked at this as a positive thing because it could actually help NaVi as a team, as a young set of players in the core positions.
There's nothing surprising about NaVi grabbing a really good player and putting them on their team. The fact that it's Lil and he's willing to join the team gives me more faith in NaVi currently, because I haven't had a huge amount of faith in them in a while. So grabbing Lil and maybe with the addition of LeBron, maybe finally we're going to see a NaVi team that does end up being one of the better ones.
I'm loving the NaVi hairstyle.
Yeah, I was going to say he went all in, man.
He's going all in, isn't he?
No, I think
new team, new hair.
I think now that some of the details have come out publicly, I mean, Lil and VP maybe not being the best match for a while, maybe not being too happy with each other, was kind of an open secret in Dota for a while. And they did go ahead and make that move. And I actually do think there's a state of the world where both teams come out better, because like we were talking about earlier, Lil's strength as a player is his versatility, and the 4 position for most of the top teams, very concentrated hero pool. So while maybe Roger plays the Earth Spirits and the couple Elite 4s a little bit better, I do still think this NaVi team is in need of some new direction. They're in need of some new strats, and the benefits of a player like Lil, who can make so much more work at the support position, might be better spent on NaVi.
Yeah, I mean, they also got a ton of DPC points from getting Lil, right?
Exactly, they're fifth.
Yes, I mean, there is
that one.
They have moved up into the top 6 now, so that's helped them a little bit. And a good net of points here would no doubt push that even higher as well. Havos just in the background having a final chat with the admins on there. LeBron, you just saw actually, he was the nearest to the camera. He's just going to pop in a shot now. I think it's fantastic that they've had this change up.
Yeah, they
have the core, don't they? Those three, I mean, Dendy's Dendy. General's been playing fantastically in the offlane, and actually Crystallize, for me, probably been the best player, the best new player of the season so far. So they've got all the right ingredients, haven't they? And they just needed a bit more experience in it. They've got that in two fantastic supports.
And I think, let me be frank, right? The last we saw of NaVi at ESL One Genting, it left a really bad taste in I think a lot of people's mouths. I mean, they mailed it in the 2 drafts against DG in that last series, and I think that is an indicator to me of a team that's really lost a little faith and confidence in each other and was in need of a change. You know, I do think General was highly regarded as a rising star last year, Crystallize highly regarded this season. The talent is there. It's just a matter of getting the pieces put together.
All right, well, talking to talent, let's switch focus to the orange side of the wall, because Fnatic right now, if there is a team in Dota 2 with more prospects and more talent on it, I'm not sure what it is, because that lineup is absurd right now. Eternal Envy, Abed, I think, has proved himself to be fantastic. Universe is arguably the best in the world in his position, if not one of the best. Same with DJ, has proven himself time and time again, and Pylai Dai, for me, still the best 5 in the world. So that lineup is absurd, Fog. That has all the potential in the world. I'm even going to go as far as saying they could even win TI with that lineup. It's that good.
I got a chance to see them a lot recently. We were doing the Dream League, me and Owen, and we actually saw their whole road, and they were looking like better and better as the game's on. We got to see a lot of Abed, Flashy, Invoker plays like that. But for me, actually, DJ and Pi were absolutely phenomenal. A lot of it was actually one big game that happened where the 3 cores had 0 deaths, and the 2 supports had like 20 deaths between the 2 of them, because they were just running
tanking it all,
tanking the deaths, tanking the smoke ganks. And I thought that their map presence was so smart. Like, they actually knew exactly where all the movements were coming every single time. They tanked the gank. Their team would just succeed afterwards. It was really remarkable to see.
Is the biggest problem? Sorry, Kevin.
That's definitely one of the best things about Pi, I think, is that he very regularly does it. He's been doing that for years. And when his cores are so good, like Abed, for example, that's definitely something you want to facilitate.
It's the worry with this team. I've built them up. They've got the potential on paper to be TI champions, right? And I genuinely believe that they have the quality of players in there. It's the danger that they're also the kind of team that might not even qualify for the international.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's dangerous to build them up that far. I mean, they definitely have very, very high skill, but it's kind of the same story as NaVi, really. Like, the 2 teams are in similar classes. They have the skill, but are they going to get the good tournament performance and become the team that we think that they can be? Yeah,
one of the other things, of course, we have here this weekend with our partners Mercedes-Benz is the fact that we have the MVP back once more. They are able to win a Mercedes-Benz car. The winner last time, of course, came from Virtus Pro. This time round, who will it come from? Well, will help us decide that, as we'll get into that a little bit later. Bit early to be casting around MVPs right now, but has there been a good performance so far that could put them in the running?
What if Solo gets it again?
I mean,
does he get to keep both? I
how
guess
do
he
you
does,
vote
right?
for anybody else? You go back to Hamburg, and that was the best 5th picks I've seen by a single captain in a tournament at that level. He just won them like 8 different drafts with the 10th overall pick. It was incredible.
Yeah, it was very, very, very impressive indeed. I wonder if we'll get the same kind of drafting prowess here.
We'll see as it progresses.
It's too early, isn't it?
See, I'm ready for.
Are you ready to vote now?
We gave it to the support. I'm ready for one of these core position players to put up the big.
No.
This is the support patch.
Support patch. Absolutely,
patch.
Support patch. Look at the courier cost. Like, early game 5s can now be relevant again.
We got to give cars to support players for like 3 years until the core support balance is finally even, I think.
Hell yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, we've gone through the 3 meta.
I think I'm
We've gone through the
mid
meta. We've gone through the carry meta. We've gone through a little bit of support meta. Now we're a proper support meta.
Now we're all about the 5s.
Yeah, right.
Full out on the 5s.
Full out on the 5s. I'm all with you. Never guess where I play.
Good.
Right then. So we're going to move towards the draft in this game. Alan, talk to me. What are you expecting from these 2 teams? Very different drafting styles. Yeah,
very different drafting styles. The Fnatic, again, they're going to open generally 2 supports or a very stable core like a Razor and Omni Knight. They're not all that unusual for the SEA meta in terms of their drafts, whereas NaVi's draft is the big question mark here for me, because we don't know what style that NaVi are going to gravitate toward now with all these roster changes, and I do think that they need to move in a new direction.
Okay, but surely, I know you can argue this if you want, but surely having Leo in that team and giving them the kind of inside Virtus Pro knowledge is going to help them.
I would think so, yeah. You don't think so?
It's just hard to say, right? It really, this is a very different team than VP. I don't think that they should try to play like VP.
Who's drafting on NaVi right now? Do we know who's actually making the solid decision at the end? Because I'm not 100% sure.
No, I'm not 100% sure either. I think it's hopefully Havosh has a bit more influence, because I was he made some remarks to me that it was. I wondered how much he actually had to do with those drastic ending.
I feel like I would still defer to a lot of what Lil says. I mean, he came from a team that was, maybe they haven't like won TI, but they've still done pretty well, and they had a long period where they were seen as one of the best teams in the world. I say there's a lot. I'm sure there's lots of really important information he's picked up along the way. Surely that's gonna be useful to a team like NaVi that's been struggling for a long time.
And how do you feel LeBron will approach this first game?
I mean, like you said, he's been playing a lot of Clockwork, so I think they'll probably try to get him on that Clockwork, get him on one of his comforts, is either his Sanking, his Clockwork, or his Earth Spirit.
Yep.
I think those are the top three, and I think that's actually, especially the Sanking. I got to see a lot of SEA games. We covered way too many games this last 10 days, and Sanking was actually in SEA. Sanking was #1. He was reigning supreme in majority of the games, and the Chen. So I think that's another one that I think NaVi has to watch out for.
God, DJ Chen is insane.
Yeah,
that's insane.
But yeah, I think they would probably focus on getting him just one of those 3 comfort heroes.
So I was going to say nice comfort.
Don't change him too much. If anything, if Lil wants to play one of his Lil heroes, sure, throw in some enchanters, something that he really wants to play. But LeBron, I think, should stay with his comforts.
That's kind of what I'm hoping to see, is that Lil go back to some of his vintage heroes, because over time with VP, it was actually Solo that took over the primary Enchantress players. They stopped running the Visage, of course, altogether. You don't see that much as support anymore. But I kind of want to see him back on those heroes that he made famous. He is a player to me that does best when he's playing a different hero every game.
And you just ask him, what are you going to crush the game with, right? That's what we saw at Kiev Major. They were just like, he's just like, pick me Enchantress, I'll ruin this game. It's like when you have a player that's so confident in hero, you kind of have to adhere to what he's going to call.
Yeah, sure. And in terms of the way that LeBron comes along to this completely different world from where he's been playing over the last few years, how does he cope with that? How did you cope the first time you went to TI and geez, what's going on here?
That was a long time ago.
You're kind of like, whatever, I don't care.
I don't remember that anymore. I mean, it was kind of more of an I don't care thing. I think for him, it's probably the pressure's on. This is one of his first big lands,
but the maturity that he has, surely that's going to help him, isn't it?
Sure. He probably has his teammates also telling him, like, be easy, like chill, like you're going to do fine.
Yeah. And
he has a lot of like veteran guys around him.
If you look at what they've been picking for him, I mean, the 5-position Clockwork you guys already mentioned, the Ogre, right? Heroes that he can just be an early roaming presence, a lane bully on, and really enable his teammates as the game goes on. I think that's, you know, you're not going to be looking at him on having primary initiation responsibilities, for example. It's going to be more pick-off focus, early roaming.
You don't think he'll play something like the Tusk or something like that?
I don't think you want to necessarily have him on the primary initiator, right? I think he's best on heroes that are going to enable his teammates, but that's sort of what the 5-position role is about to begin with.
Yeah, they have to get him on clock. I think, not like have to, but I think that's actually my favorite one to see him on, even before he was playing for this team. He makes plays all over the place. We got to see him in a bunch of the qualifier games that we saw him play, and he just makes moves around the map. He's pretty confident in his clock play.
Where is Dendy right now? Oh, I get lots of messages about Dendy. People know Dendy. If they don't know Dota very well and they see me, I'm doing a Dota run, and oh, we'll tune in to see what's going on, but it's very rare for them. But they know Dendy. He's the one that kind of transfers outside of Dota 2, and people understand who he is. Where is he right now in his career?
I think he's still, I think he's still a fine laner. I think that they just, personally, I think they should play around Crystallize more, because I think Crystallize is a super solid carry. I think if they leave Dendy on his own, for the most part in the 1v1s, he does just fine. Unless he's versus like the absolute best mid laners, like this No One, or versus like this Miracle or something, he can hold his ground. Yeah,
he seems like he's still good. Just we haven't really seen amazing team streaks, so we don't really see any amazing team performances or individual performances where he just completely controls the whole game. Maybe it happens once in a while, but I just feel like I know Dendy's still there, but I don't hear that much about him. So,
but it's also not the mid meta, is it? I mean, we talked about this over the last 18 months. Mids are getting pretty bullied now. You can send 3 people to the lane, doesn't really have the same effect. Then you've got to kind of sack the lane, leave it alone.
I would agree, but I wouldn't really attribute that to hearing or not hearing about Dendy.
Okay, all right. What if he moved lane? What if he moved into the off lane?
I think that's kind of the wrong question though, because almost all good core players with top teams now have to be able to play in all 3 lanes. So I think you're at a disadvantage if you're saying, well, I'm not comfortable in the side lanes as a mid laner right now. I think you have to be comfortable in different laning configurations because opponents drafting are good enough to make you do that.
So Mail would like to have a word with you.
What? He's an offlaner now. I mean,
but he moved to the offlane. That's my point.
But half the time, like, but
he moved there because he
half the
couldn't
time
impact the game.
they're running it in dual lanes. I mean, he's actually more of a solo safe laner now than an offlaner. So it's, I don't know. I think the whole Dendi was the one that was originally credited with saying that, you know what, at the end of the day, there are no lanes, there are no roles. You're a good Dota player or you're not. And I think that that's more true now than it's ever been.
Okay, it's very interesting. The boys are gathering, as you can see. Havos just in the background. DJ going to get himself in position fairly shortly, I would imagine, with the Fnatic boys getting ready for the draft as well. Though, I don't know, Universe seems quite chilled at the moment, even though he's shaking his head.
And I think Universe is the other example. We talk about style and fit. And I just think like that Universe is such a much better style. His style is such a much better fit with this Fnatic roster than it was with EG, where you've got EE as his career has moved on. He's got more and more comfortable on these tempo carries where he'll still pull out a Terrorblade, but really good on the Razor, really good on these heroes that can just be in the front lines but don't necessarily need huge farm.
Dude, his Razor the other day, you guys saw his build, right? Phase.
Oh yeah, I
Hood,
did see this game.
Yules, Blink Dagger,
Kevin's already having like, what is going on?
He was godlike in like the first 15 minutes, and he took over the entire game with the build.
Wow.
But he's done
Kevin's
that.
Going back to the drawing board.
Done that on like 4 different heroes now. Remember Envy, Blink Dagger, Clinks. He was the first to understand that Blink Dagger on Clinks is a DPS item because your DPS on that hero comes so much from your positioning. Razor's kind of a mini version of that same principle.
He actually did like the same thing. That game we were just like, and he's building a Yules.
Yeah, that sounds like it doesn't make sense at all.
He was stopping TPs.
I could see your face
with Blink going. It was super impressive.
I could see your face as well to explain that.
Where's the HP going? I was like, doesn't he just die here?
The Hood saved him like 4 times. It was so good.
Hood feels like mandatory sometimes on Razor because BKB won't be enough to stop like every Tinker missile kind of a thing, but the Yules definitely surprised me.
I'm hearing that one of the players' PC was not quite working the way that he wanted it to, so we're just giving him some time to fix that, and then we'll reboot the lobbies as well.
They're all very smiley.
There's a lot of
they are
laughing.
they're having a lot of fun. Far too much. Stop having fun down there.
No way they have a morale problem.
There's some bants. Is there some bants going on in the chat or something?
Proper bants. It does give me the opportunity to dive into the little question bag. One of which is, Alan, all of you, is the DPC working? We're halfway through.
I think we are. I think professional Dota is in a better place right now than it was 12 months ago. The DPC is absolutely not perfect, and so many people said when this system was first introduced that there are going to be growing pains, and we've had our share of those. But I think professional Dota is in a better place, and I think it's going to be even better the second time around.
I mean, we see the top 3 teams. That would be the top 3 teams to me, even if we didn't have point system.
Yeah.
Even without like all this.
And you look at it last year, right? Last year, in the first like 2.5 months of last year, the top 6 Western teams, only like one of them played more than 30 games. It was just, you'd never see the top teams, especially the Western teams, play outside of majors. And I think that this is a better, I think getting to see Liquid and Secret and VP regularly is a really good thing for Dota.
Yeah, I agree. It's better for players for sure. It's better for more teams. It's better for more regions.
Yep.
I would say it's better for casters. It's just across the board. There's more Dota to watch. Maybe too much is maybe my one negative. But I think the first statement you said is really accurate. Like it's very easy to look at the negatives and what's bad about the current system, but it's certainly better than last year. It's overall better.
Let me propose something else for you as well. 16-team events with top 4 paying points. Would you feel like it would be better to spread that to top 8 and leave only the 18 tournaments to top 4?
I think the points distribution needs to change a little bit, right? Because right now the points distribution is very steep in the top 4, and due to logistical concerns of the way the tournament works, the top 4 is usually the single elimination phase. So I'd like to see the points distribution change a little bit.
All right, well, we can get into more of that as we go through the next 6 days. I'm sure we'll get a few more times to talk about DPC and the merits of it, but we're into our draft for game number 4 between NaVi and Fnatic.
They banned Razor.
They banned Razor. Yeah, I think Envy was, dude, he was just way too good on that hero. He actually just took over. It was unbelievable. Omni actually does get taken out. I'm so surprised that Omni made it through so many drafts.
Yeah.
That one draft, it was just untouched. I was really shocked for it. So now it looks like, are they going to take out the Naga? Is the big question.
Yep.
I know it's not particularly popular right now, but Crystallize stands out as one of the few players that has Void as his most played in the last 3 months.
Void's ticked up a bit.
Yeah.
Void actually has some really favorable matchups against the most picked heroes right now.
And I just wondered whether that was one of those that Fnatic would probably just let go through.
It's mostly a combo hero though.
Yes,
it's not like it's just a Void. It's like Void AA or Void Elder Titan, or you don't really pick the hero. You need to have things to throw in.
Who did I watch recently that played Void Enigma, which was disgusting?
With like Midnight Pulse or something?
Yeah.
There were a couple of those.
It was pretty disappointing. Actually, didn't we have one at Genting?
No, the Genting games were there were a couple drafts where it was Void against Enigma. Because they were
trying to transfer each other, basically.
Well, they got pigeon. You need in the last pick of the draft, if the opponent has an Enigma and you're light on disable, you need that big BKB piercing disable, and it's relatively unusual for a 1 or 2 position core to have that.
We were mentioning LeBron's clock, how important it was for NaVi.
Yeah.
Yep.
They actually banned in the first 3.
I think that's a lot of respect.
Respect for him and also respect for, I think, the
But it gives him an
Shadow
up.
Fiend.
He's sitting there going, huh, they think it's that good and they banned it in the first. That's good for him.
It enables Dandy a lot too. The clock SF, they can do that duo. And they have to pick the Naga there.
This is really good by Fnatic. So when you see NaVi open with the Disruptor, you take the Naga away. So they don't get that combo. I think that's an excellent idea.
So the Disruptor will likely be Lils.
What about Shadow Shaman, though? I feel like he had a little bit of a streak maybe a month ago, but since then he hasn't been as popular.
A little bit, isn't it?
I mean, he did get nerfed. Aethershock cooldown level 1 is like way higher than
14 instead
of 8, so you could spam it like crazy. So I guess his lane...
It's inside
and
Paradise top 10.
got nerfed.
Yeah, it's still inside Paradise top 10 most played, but that's not saying much because he's only actually got 12 in the last 3 months.
So I guess it's just worse at the first couple levels, but after that, it's fine. It's pretty much
he becomes the same hero after the first like 3 or 4 levels.
And he really frees, because we've talked so much, particularly during Genting, about the idea that your 1 and 2 position in this meta, and often both, need to be tower hitters, and roster really frees up that obligation quite a bit.
And he gives you disables, which we do see a lot of times. You see like these bounty hunters plus something, they lack disables a lot in the drafts. This hero always is going to give you that. NaVi with a quick gyrocopter picked up.
Yeah, that's interesting. A lot of it's interesting to me how Gyro has come back, because I don't feel that Gyro is really outstanding in any given area, but I think he's very hard to counterpick in this meta right now. Like Lycan, EG obviously, we heard in Dream League, thinks that Lycan's the counter to Gyro, but a lot of teams actually that I've asked disagree with that.
And they just lost with
they
just lost with the Lycan. I think the ones for me that actually do better versus Gyro personally is the Lifestealer and the Juggernaut.
Yeah.
These heroes actually just get in the face of him and kill him.
Although
as long as you have a
again though, it's weird. It's like you get into these meta situations where the counters to a particular hero themselves have really hard counters out there, and that's like the situation with the Juggernaut. Like, he's been getting eaten alive by Beastmaster lately, so who is taken out right now. So maybe you do think about that.
I think the solution to Gyro is more in the laning stage. Like, I'm not saying there's a hero that is particularly amazing, but if you can dive and kill Gyro a lot in the first like 10 to 15 minutes, then you can really mess up his tempo. Because otherwise, because he always contributes decent to lane, always contributes well to team fights. If you just also put him behind and farm, and then maybe win a fight mid-ish game, like 15, 20 minutes, then I feel like he's kind of out of it. Like you'll always be an item ahead. He'll have BKB, but he actually needs like a butterfly with some armor. So.
Yeah, the solution to that, how the top teams have solved that with Gyro is they've had their mid players be able to switch onto the gyrocopter. Yeah. So you need to have, in order to pressure the gyrocopter consistently that way, you need to have 2 dive lanes ready.
That's why I do like the Juggernaut though versus the Gyro, because he's gonna get in your face early on. He like level 7, level 8, he's gonna like phase, drum, call downs, and you can just run in and actually kill him. And it's incredible versus Disruptor. You can always just be able to spin, TP out versus the Glimpse. You're gonna spin to dodge it too.
Quick stat for you with NaVi: have yet to win using Gyro since 707.
Really?
Yes.
Huh.
So Batrider ban, Shadowfiend ban, and a Terrorblade ban.
Batrider ban versus General. I think that's kind of a staple. That's, I think, his best hero in my opinion.
Oh, it's his best hero, and it's also, he played that hero in a style that's becoming very meta right now, and that's in those aggro duel lanes. General was one of the first players I saw that thought about Batrider not as a dedicated solo offlaner, but as an aggro duel to put pressure on the opponent. I mean, they ran some, what was it? I think they ran like Batrider Witch Doctor lanes for a while that just disgusting.
I think this time they could be looking for something like that Sanking though, because it's not. If they pick it in the third here for Navi, then it can be that flex pick. Because as we said, LeBron plays it as well as General, so they could use that one.
That's a big hero for both teams, I think.
Yeah. Like I was mentioning, SEA, they absolutely loved the Sanking when we were watching them about a week and a half ago.
And maybe a little lesser for Fnatic, because if you pick it here, that telegraphs that it is going to be a core.
I think more than likely they would want something like that Brew for Universe.
Yeah.
Okay. Into the Disruptor, I wasn't too certain if they would do it because the Static Storm versus Tide.
I think I like it better than Brew. I think Brew is more vulnerable there, whereas I guess maybe they have similar survivability. I just feel like Tide is tankier. I guess at the very least he'll have damage block. Maybe he gets an anchor smash off ahead of time.
And he goes Hood, right?
Yeah.
True. So he's going to be able to tank versus the Gyro and Disruptor. Yeah. Maybe survive the combo to be able to get his ult.
If you look at Navi's ban, they ban Enigma. They're basically trying to prevent the whatever combo they're going to do with Naga Siren, but now they can just do a Ravage.
Yeah.
And that alone will be very effective. I think that's why they also banned Batrider. General's good at it, but if you jump in with like Lasso and pull one hero out and you have to Song to defend against that, that's a really good trade for the Batrider team, I feel like. So, but if you're able to offensively Song and do a Ravage to set things up, and you're going to have like Serpent Wards already set up, that sounds a lot more dangerous.
Yeah, and a lot of the, add to that a lot of the classic laning counters to the Batrider, you think about the Lifestealer or the Slark, are not heroes that Fnatic plays a lot of right now. So that's a difficult hero for them to deal with.
Liking either Sanking or Elder Titan for Navi.
I think Elder Titan is fantastic, although Fnatic, of these two teams, Fnatic are the better with that one.
Yeah, I don't know if Navi really plays it too often.
They wouldn't have enough lockdown, I feel like, if they went ET. It'd be too difficult to just initiate even.
So this is a little unusual. It's very unusual, in fact, in drafting right now to see the 1 and 2 position cores taken in the first 3. But again, I kind of expected Navi to go in a different direction draft-wise in this tournament, and maybe even hide Lil's hero.
Okay.
I like it so far for what Fnatic has. Like lots of damage output, fairly survivable. Fnatic doesn't have a lot of single target damage right now. It's mostly just AoE and disable. So even if Exorcism is off, and then she'll still be effective. If she's not the one that's shackled, throwing a silence on either Naga or Shadow Shaman is hugely problematic for both of those heroes. So I think DP is a pretty solid pickup here. We'll see if she gets countered, though. That's really the scary thing. The last 2 picks.
About picking a third.
I mean, because Fnatic could just go some really high damage physical carry. Even something like PA maybe could work.
And I don't know. This is I don't know that this Navi roster is going to run a lot of heroes. This is a sick Rubik game, man.
Viper.
Okay.
I think Viper's pretty decent. Personally survivable. Does a lot of damage reflection, can amplify the magic damage that his team does. Ultimate will go through BKB, so it'll be very good against Gyro in a lot of cases, especially early game.
I think this is what we were talking about earlier, Fog, that they're looking at taking away some of Crystallized's hero pool, particularly the PL.
With the Viper pick?
Yeah, with the Viper pick.
The Nether Toxin, you just stand in your pool versus PL and you disable both passives, yeah.
I didn't think about that. Then you could just go like Maelstrom or something.
Yeah, a lot of people use it in more an aggressive manner, but if you actually just throw it on yourself and the PL runs at you, the PL loses all of his benefits.
Yeah, I felt Moo pointed that out to me like 3 weeks ago, and I felt so silly. I was like, wait a minute, Viper counters PL? No, he doesn't.
You meant the other way, yeah. PL counters Viper, but it can go both ways, of course. You know, if PL gets massive, Viper can do nothing at some points, but.
Yeah, but it's true. You got another Toxin yourself, and you can't go the early Ags build. You got to go like Maelstrom.
Yeah. Makes me feel terrible.
Rubik. I just, it's. I don't know. Lil is a good Rubik, not necessarily like elite level, but it's just so good against all 4 Fnatic heroes.
Rubik Gyro, classic.
Oh yeah.
But it is Rubik Disruptor supports, which I'm not too crazy about.
Yeah, but DP at least is pretty not too vulnerable in lane.
Neither of those heroes, by the way, played by LeBron. Traditionally.
So he'll play the Disruptor.
He'll play he'll play the
5 as a Disruptor, right?
Yeah, I think he'll play 5 Disruptor. They'll give farm priority to a Rubik here this game.
I mean, the Rubik synergizes so well with his teammates. Just you can use the Aura offensively. It'll increase the damage that DP does in a big way, Gyrocopter in a big way. I think it's not bad.
Yeah, Gyro for sure. DP only helps your wave.
And there's not even that much like catch. No, it's Spirit Siphon's also magic, so.
Oh yeah, Spirit Siphon. That's right.
I feel like there's not that much single target kill power on Fnatic. Like there's not like a carry right now that's going to jump the backline and kill Rubik and Disruptor right now. So maybe Fnatic will want to go that way, but I think Rubik can definitely help benefit NaVi without being too vulnerable.
They banned Brood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was the thing I was about to talk about.
Yeah.
No need.
And a Brood ban.
Well, they have shown an Abed Broodmother in the last couple of weeks.
So basically, NaVi doesn't want Fnatic to have too much more strong team fight, and I guess both teams looking at it that way, I suppose.
It's left for general.
Is that Tinker banned, by the way? I can't see from here.
No, that's Brew.
Tinker's not banned. It's a Brew.
Okay. So the Tinker's still available if Abed wants it.
They just go DK. So they're going to put that offlane DK.
Yeah, offlane DK. That's an interesting tricore, and obviously DK very successful in the last couple of games here.
I like against Shaman and Naga Siren. I think it's a good way to deal with them.
Viper hurts him a lot mid game though. The Nether Toxin.
That's true.
So it feels like you can pick a lot for Abed here though.
Yep.
It feels like you.
They're gonna what? Put
He can have the Tinker if he wants it.
Could have the Invoker.
Could have the Tiny.
Tiny's
Tiny's out. Tiny's out.
Yeah, Invoker's free, isn't it? TA's free if he wants it.
You can pick Sniper.
They need like single target damage of some kind. They have almost none right now.
So I was thinking Burst from the Abed's Invoker, but...
Is OD crazy here?
OD is not crazy here.
Oh,
they are going to go Tinker. Okay.
That makes sense. Just spam the March during the song. That way when they come out, they're going to take a ton of damage.
I just think it's. I just think it's. If Tinker gets pressured at all in lane, I think you're very susceptible to the Navi push. There's huge push potential out of this Navi lineup.
Okay, draft complete time, Nahaz.
Oh boy.
To prove
you're gonna make me go first after all this?
To make sure that you're not the problem, what I'm going to do is start with Fog.
I'm going to go with Fnatic.
Okay.
I like the Tinker pick a lot.
All right. Nicely rounded out the draft.
Yep, they've got the Shadow Shaman to get their towers, because other than that, their push isn't the greatest, but I think the Shadow Shaman plus Tinker can actually make a lot of space.
Okay, Fnatic for Fogged.
Yeah, I was going to go Fnatic as well. I do like Navi's draft. It looks very safe, but I think Fnatic has just the right stuff to make the combo work really well.
Oh my god, are we going to do this again? Yeah,
yeah.
I'm going to stick with it just because it was what I was ready when you came to me first. I like this Navi draft a little bit better in a vacuum, but I think this Fnatic team is just better right now, so I got to go that direction.
Okay, so all three of you for Fnatic.
Yeah. Please no 0-9, please.
I mean, that would be this. Then if this happens, that would prove
this is what happens when you put three men that agree with each other on. They've agreed on all 4 matches so far. They've got 1 out of 3. Can they make it 2 out of 2? Let's find out as we head into the match. It's a big one. It's NaVi versus Fnatic. Who else better to bring it to you than Cap and Blitz?
That's right, 2 relatively unknown entities here, Fnatic as well as NaVi, both experiencing roster changes since their last LAN, means that we're going to be seeing, well, opportunities for both these teams to be able to prove themselves and prove with their new rosters that they are better teams than they were before, and they are here to take the Dota scene by storm. Blitz! We don't like these panelists, do we?
Dude, I actually kind of think that...
we're on the NaVi train right
Yeah,
here.
we're sort of on the NaVi train. I think NaVi's going to do it.
I mean, it's just an easy-to-execute lineup with NaVi,
Yes.
right? You've got the Dragonite push with a Death Prophet behind it and a playmaking Gyrocopter fighting core. I mean, this is just, like, aggressive and pushy and just all up in the face of Fnatic. And Fnatic do have a couple of slow heroes here.
The good side of Fnatic is that their team fight is really good.
Yeah.
Their team fight is sick.
They have, like, a guaranteed win team fight.
Yes.
Once every, like, 2.5 minutes, right?
I think that... I'm not sure. I'm trying to envision how these fights go. It depends on how Pi plays this game. I think Pi is going to be the determining factor, whether they win or lose.
Really? Why him?
Because the sleep disengage is so important here. Because
Okay.
if you can do the sleep into... it's like the old TI2 combo, right? The sleep into the Ravage.
Yep.
The battle begins.
Like if you time it very nicely, then there's a lot of potential here.
But you can't beat like BKBs, right?
Yeah.
That was actually the exact problem that who was in that match? Was it IG?
Yeah.
They ran into the problem where they thought because of the Dota 1 mechanics, they thought they could actually get that Ravage combination.
They got
on
bodied
top
by
of
that.
Yeah.
The Chinese were really surprised. I was
Yeah,
in that
they
room
were
at that
like,
time.
wait, we can't combo that? Like, you can't get a seamless stun?
That's fun history when you saw them, like, because they were so confident. I remember I was with, I can't remember which Chinese speaker I was with. I was with somebody, and they were talking to Ro8 about it. And he's like, yeah, this Naga Tidehunter combo is unbeatable. And at the time, remember, this was when they were all building like Lincoln's Naga and stuff like that for fun history. Anybody cares about shit like that. But I think this is a winnable draft for NaVi.
This bottom lane is getting bodied right now by DJ and Eternal Heavy and denies.
Yeah.
I just watched them get 3 denies in that first wave.
All right, we're changing it up again. We're going back to...
Meanwhile, top lane, this has been pulled way, way back.
Dude, Dendy's crushing right now.
5-0.
Yeah.
Against Abed, 2-0.
Oh my god, he's actually doing so well on this lane.
We should also point out that Dendy was also the drafter
yeah.
this game.
He was doing this, he does that annoying ass thing that a lot of mid players do where you like go for it so that nobody gets it, you know?
Yeah. You go for it.
Oh, it makes me so mad.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Let's just trade farm.
Oh, that's my play, you know? As an offlaner, I just want to screw up the carry as much as possible.
Like, Dendy's throwing breathe fires so that Abed has to laser for CS. That was pretty cool, but he's got the first, like, 2-wave advantage. But Abed's now starting to catch up.
So we're going to have a Tidehunter Naga Siren duo against General's Death Prophet in the safe lane. He should be able to do pretty well in this lane, right?
Yeah. This is the 3rd or 4th time I've seen this, actually. There's like a top 50 ranked NA offlaner that keeps doing this. That I keep mistaking for Clayster.
Death Prophet?
Yeah.
Oh, I have seen.
You know who I'm talking about, right? It's like
I've
Sun's.
Seen it a couple times.
Yeah, but it was pretty okay. The
Why?
downside is like it's not a playmaker.
Why are we having this weird meme where we're having some mid heroes now be the 3 position side lane?
It's all the really tanky ones like
Right.
DK and stuff.
Yep.
You need heroes that have this self-sustain and that are very nice in that regard, because you can't just put anybody anywhere you feel like. But I mean, I think Dota's so awesome because you get to just do random stuff like that. Like I hadn't seen DK go any lane but mid in like 4 years, and then all of a sudden like I've seen it in side lanes like 4 times this year alone. And same with DP. I would have never thought that she was just gonna turn up as a safe laner, and then EG started doing it.
You know what this whole entire era of Dota has made me think of? It's like those pubs where like you get some guy who's just not on the same page and you end up picking like 2 mids or something, 2 off laners, and then your lanes just look kind of weird. But it ends up working out. And you're like, why can't I just do this all the time?
Yes. I mean, that's always been the cool part about competitive Dota.
So why can't we just do safe lane ODs and side lane Dragon Knights?
It's like, why not? I think that's the coolest part is like, because, you know, if you had asked me years ago if this stuff would happen, I'd tell you there's no way, right?
Yeah.
But Dota's a game like where you consistently get your beliefs challenged, and being wrong is like my favorite part about being an analyst, because it means that I get to learn something new about the game, and that's hopefully what they're getting out of this too, is competitive players.
Dive coming up here in the top lane. Pyla dies. Going to try and threaten Lil with the double minus armor. Their physical damage could do a lot here, but General is not one to be shoved out here. With the Spirit Siphon, he's going to threaten the Tidehunter an equal amount here in this this dual lane. Just doesn't really seem like it's ever going to go that well for Fnatic.
Yeah. 2
melee tanky heroes pushing into a Death Prophet, but at least they're going to be able to get some guaranteed farm for the Tidehunter. And you've repeatedly said to me, Will, that Tidehunter is a hero that needs to be able to get farm in lane.
Yeah, I hate this idea that you turn Tidehunter or Enigma into these heroes that are just ulti dependent, because it makes them very worthless in the game. Like if you turn Tidehunter into a hero that's just useful for his damage.
Oh, Eternal Heavy, the bottom lane, has a homing missile running after him, and that is going to be enough to secure your first blood for Crystallize.
Nahaz was the problem. And we both saw this draft, and I think we both agreed. It was like, NaVi looks good. It's very stable across the board. Like, there's not any one place where they're particularly weak. I think that Fnatic has the higher team fight potential.
Yeah. So let's not get ahead of ourselves just because we've seen a first blood. We haven't gotten into the major problem of Fnatic's lineup, which is their deadly team fight.
And I think NaVi will feel pressured to end the game, this game.
And that can lead to a lot of mistakes. Particularly pushing high ground into a Tinker and a Tidehunter. Those heroes are notorious for their high ground defense.
There's some like weird thing about Tinker though. It feels like if you die once, this hero feels so bad.
Oh yeah, you just lose the game.
Yeah, it honestly feels worse than almost any other hero.
It feels like that this hero has like the highest variance in late game, and that he can win any game late game.
Yeah.
But he can also lose any game. Because
completely agree.
You just get picked off once.
There's this timing too where after you get like Aether Lens Blink travels, where you're on the road to Aghanim Scepter, and you need to be completely uncontested on that road.
Yeah.
Like you need to get that 4,200 gold straight up.
Two-man smoke up here, LeBron and Lil. The two newcomers to NaVi, forming the support duo. Yeah. Gonna try and catch Abed from behind. They're in a great position to do so. Dendi already leads with the Dragon Form stun. They should get some pretty nice combination here to bring Abed down.
Nice.
And on top of that, they can try and threaten mid, but Fnatic is forming up a smoke rotation or an Invis rune rotation of their own.
This is a level 4 DJ. He's very strong, but I would imagine that be a little bit difficult to get this kill, and he is rotating downwards. Maybe to anticipate and help out just in case as DJ runs forward. I mean, he's pinging. They want to try to make a move on this. Pilot Die is going to swing around in the trees. The Invis
going to be able to snag up LeBron. Lil is going to go for the telekinesis. Nice play. Instead of thinking, I'm going to stop DJ Shackle, I'm just going to throw Pilot Die up on the cliff, and that's going to be a freebie for NaVi.
Lil is...
That was quick thinking.
That was very fast. I like that.
Well, the Invis rune does not pay off.
Yo, NaVi, hot start.
Yeah, 3-0 right now. How'd you feel about their lineup train with Seneko leaving, them being able to pick up LeBron, and then obviously the switch out of Lil for Roger?
Okay, so here's how I feel about this.
Okay.
I think a lot of people think like I dislike NaVi, but I don't think that at all. I just think that they were in a position. They reminded me of like EG last year. You know when they had like Zai and Crit. I don't think that Seneko and Roger could work inherently. Okay. I think it was an issue where you essentially had two 4-position players. That exactly.
Yeah.
And you could totally sense that. Like sometimes Seneko really wanted to be, himself, and he just couldn't be. So I felt like they were very limited in that regard, which is why I called them a mediocre team.
So you think LeBron is a more suitable replacement to that core duo?
Yeah, I think LeBron might be individually worse, but we're being proven like time and time again that stuff really doesn't matter in Dota. Like the chemistry angle, letting people play their natural roles, these things matter more and more.
Yeah. I mean, LeBron's a guy who's literally just grinded through team after team and has played those kind of positions. I think if anybody who's going to be sort of appreciative of a support, very sacrificial role, it would be somebody like that.
That's what I mean. Like that. There was this thing about Dota, especially when it comes to like individual player skill, where you felt like it mattered so much, and teams consistently made changes around that. They were just like, we want to be as high individual skill as possible, but like increasingly, it doesn't matter too much. These things like team chemistry, being a good teammate, having people be motivated to play their roles, like these are the stuff that'll matter. As up at top, Fnatic
making the rotation here from Eternal Envy with a gyrocopter. Gonna drop that ultimate. They do manage to finish off the disruptor with a poison damage, and they're also gonna be on the snare of the gyrocopter. So they're gonna throw down that Ravage and manage to catch the Death Prophet with the slower tentacles and actually manage to get delay stun out here. They've already thrown one stun, so they're not gonna be able to stop this double TP that comes out from Fnatic. They will manage to minimize their losses there with a heavy rotation coming out from NaVi. So that was kind of perfect. Exorcism is blown. They only get one kill in return. They managed to successfully get a kill on that core gyrocopter.
Yeah, and they killed the disruptor too. So it's 2 for 1. You had to blow the Ravage cooldown, but it's whatever.
I mean, it seems Exorcism's blown, right? You can always go, 1 for 1 in that regard.
Yeah, these high ulti cooldowns, you want to use as frequently as possible.
Whoa, DJ, Jesus, just 50 HP.
That rocket will get him though.
Do you stay in base until the rocket hits you?
For sure.
It's like too much damage to walk out.
Yeah, come on, man. It should scale, like, Enchantress's old one.
Oh, yeah.
Look at that, he did stay. It honestly did like 4 damage to him.
Pilot Die, he's going to be caught telekinesis into the homing missile here, and he is only level 4. So no escape opportunity. He's going to try and go for the deny.
Yo, he's got it!
It's going to be close,
no!
But the double stack does not put enough damage out there, unfortunately. Part of the problem is Nagasarn and her high armor meant the physical damage of those creeps just did not do enough.
Yeah. Pi dying isn't going to be right.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that though. He almost got off the deny. And he is instantly alive. It really feels like he did not die there. He was up so fast. What? Am I just delirious? It feels like he was dead for like
I mean, he's level 4.
I mean, he's only level 4, but still.
The classic off-lane triangle, or the dire off-lane jungle. That's what they're kind of dealing with right now. Gyrocopter was just clearing through some of the smaller camps, doesn't have the damage to be able to tend to the ancient stack just yet.
This is one of the best parts, by the way, of playing DK against this Tinker, is because you have a high amount of regen and armor, so that you can essentially just tank the tower and you don't really care too much as Lil.
Oh, they're going to throw down a counter Viper Strike here, but Lil is going to tank enough that he will fall.
That was suicidal.
Yeah, I can't believe he telekinesis him forward. I thought he was just going to toss him back and it's all good.
That was real spiteful.
Yeah.
He's like, I've got you. And NaVi was like, that.
Weird.
All right. That's Pi in mid. Still only level 4, by the way. We talked about how his level 6 was going to be really important, but...
So you were saying that Dragon Knight, good part about it versus the Tinker is that you have this constant presence in lane.
Yeah.
You don't have to go back.
It's the same idea of like...
But why doesn't it work the other way? Because the Tinker can always defend towers. Why isn't he good versus
It does work both ways.
Okay.
It does work both ways. But the thing about Tinker is that eventually you'll jungle, and it's like DK will get free hits on your tower. It's the same idea though behind what is it? Like the Dusa, DP, all those heroes. Like when they mirror against each other, it's because they have a high amount of regen.
does have Shrine. He's good.
Oh.
In fact, Lil sticking around
Poor
a bit
Lil.
too long again. Lil is his play on NaVi so far has been super aggressive, and it has not been good for NaVi. They lost
think
the
so?
series against Effect in that way.
In general, there's been some space creation. The thing about this is that when you play against Tinker, it's like the space is never wasted.
Yeah.
Right? Like other heroes, you would get punished for making that kind of rotation down. Your offlaner makes a rotation to save his support. But because you have a Tinker on your side, that's the biggest upside of that hero.
Yeah.
As Pylai Die tries to make his aggressive move forward. But Fnatic are playing very well. I think NaVi, he's transitioned more into this, I mean, we've been talking about NaVi a lot, but like NaVi has transitioned more into this less of that pure one position that we saw him on like Secret when they won Shanghai.
I actually really like that. I think it's the same thing when you talk about Demon or Sexy Bamboo or, you know, those players that have like really high highs and really low lows.
Yes.
Is that when they're playing more space creating, lower on when it comes to the farm priority, lowered on that chart, it feels better because you can make those kind of plays and be punished less.
Yeah.
You know? Like, and so I actually like seeing Eternal Envy in this role. I mean, his Razor was amazing.
There was a period at the summit where he was playing like phenomenally. Like the way that he was moving his heroes around, he'd be this like level, he'd be like a level 4 Luna, just like Lucent beaming mid for Abed.
Yeah.
That was one of the crazier things I've seen in Dota. Really like, though, that Envy's sitting mid right now. They need to defend this mid tower.
They knew this dive was coming on the side of Fnatic. They tried to position accordingly, but we'll see if they can actually win the fight out here. General's already low, half HP. He needs to be able to get good Spirit Siphons off, and he does get a decent amount, but it's just not enough. They're going to be able to turn this around. The Ravage goes down, catching Pi, as well as Eternal Envy in the back line. Followed it up with a stun from Dendi, and that will be 2 down from Fnatic. So despite the fact that they knew this dive was going to happen, and they tried to plan around it, they still end up losing the fight, losing the tower.
Yeah, you can't plan around the fact that Lil, with the timing, was going to steal that Ravage. The aggression pays off this time.
Yeah. I think Ravage is actually easier to steal for the Rubik now because when he's farther out,
yes,
the tentacles are so much lower that you can actually snag it before you get stunned.
Yeah, there's a better timing on that. For sure. He was right on top of that. He understood. He's like, my Death Prophet is 100% going to get ravaged here.
Yeah. That being said, a lot of this has got to be the failure of team fights here for Fnatic has got to be because of the fact they don't have level 6 on the Naga Siren. Top lane, General, out
just
a bit
respawned.
too far, ends up getting caught by both the Tidehunter and the Shadow Shaman. He's actually keeping himself alive with the Spirit Siphon. I thought he was dead for sure.
Abed blinks forward, but
Oh, he's gonna go for it. He goes for it. Of course he does. The balls, just to say, hey, there's nobody from NaVi that's going to come back and help him. I'm going to dive behind this tier 2 tower, where he could have been completely caught out. But he did have some vision up to the cores of NaVi down here in this bottom lane. They've got a really good ward spotting out the 2 supports as well. They've just caught Pilot Die within the ultimate. They're going to try and burst him from afar. It looks like they should be able to do that. They don't want to overextend themselves, though, into a Viper with a Tinker in good positioning here. And that's why Dendi's just going to go for the TP out. All of NaVi, in fact, are going to go for mass TPs away. Trying to defend this tier 2 push that was coming out from the Shadow Shaman.
Like that move from DJ during that time period. He understands like that's not a winnable fight anymore. Go for the split. It was awkward engagement for NaVi. Like, you see the downside of about playing against this Naga Siren, like why it's so highly favored. It's because there's a Viper right there, but you have to go for the Naga. You have to blow the Disruptor ulti on the Naga. In more ideal situations, you just, you know, it doesn't matter what 4 or 5 positions there. You're going to get the kill on that Viper with that many ults.
Fnatic are up by 3k gold right now. There is a stack being cleared by NaVi, and a lot of that gold does come down to the fact that they've taken all of the outer towers on the side of NaVi. But surely with this aggressive lineup that NaVi has, weren't they supposed to have a bit of a tower lead?
I don't think so. Not against the Tinker.
No? Okay.
I think getting the mid tower and the bottom tower is the key here for NaVi. I think if they take these 2 towers, you'll be pretty happy.
Oh, they've got Ravage back up. They're going to throw it down here to be able to catch the Eternal Envy Viper. Now Pilot Die starts running himself in, threatening the song, and NaVi are going to back themselves away.
Yeah. Lil just pops it. It was about to be...
Look at this. The Troll's going to follow him, so he won't be able to just TP out so easily. He's going to be caught. Lil does end up dying here, and I can't really say it's space for anybody on the side of NaVi. They're kind of farming on the Death Prophet, but
these
looks like they might have caught it in top lane. Shadow Shaman, homing missile, running him down, and the glimpse back as well. Oh, Static Storm being dropped at LeBron. He's in serious trouble. The March is not quite enough to be able to finish him off. Let's see if he could juke out DJ here. Throws down the kinetic field to stop.
No, he's going to run into the creeps.
Runs into the creeps. Trying to juke the creeps as well. Deeper into the trees. Crystallize ends up dying to Abed. Meanwhile, bottom lane, they manage to get the stun out into the Naga Siren. Trying to pop her as quick as possible. She's down. Move on to the next. Spirit Siphon hoping to be able to grab some of these heroes while LeBron jukes his way through the trees a little bit farther. But DJ finally found him. Gets it with a static shot. Looks like Gentle was not enough to be able to slow down these heroes. Now with Abed here, as well as the break, they're going to be able to throw down the Ravage, catching both these cores and see if they can just burst down this Death Prop. But he still had 2 Spirit Siphon stacks, and he's put them both. Eternal Envy still has not been able to break. His slowed down, caught by Dendi, will end up falling. Now Abed is still here with the Tinker, laying down constant damage, but it looks like the sustain here from the NaVi cores is going to be enough to keep him alive. But again, DJ keeping up that split push.
I have to watch this again, but I actually think LeBron's move up at top made that okay, because the Abed Tinker just didn't have any mana, so he couldn't continue to spam.
Yeah.
Wow.
He ends up getting to that bottom fight a little bit late.
Yes. All the ripple effects that happen in this game that just tip over.
But it's still like Fnatic are the ones pressuring NaVi. The fights are always on the side of NaVi's map. Means there's no objective opportunities.
Yeah, and on top of that, if you look at it like NaVi, they cannot touch this Tinker right now. No. That's a giant problem for them. We've talked about it though. It's like if you catch Tinker once, game feels amazing. But getting to him is going to be the problem right now for NaVi. It's like they are letting Abed get to this very fast Ags. Like once he gets to the Ags uninterrupted like this, as a Tinker player, a hero I've played like 4 times in my life, but I've seen
I was about to say Tinker player.
a billion times.
I thought maybe you were just theoretically hypothesizing for some other person. Well,
I'm such a fool. It's the legacy keys. That's really what does it. At bottom, Dendi just gets really aggressive here, but
dude, they just cannot seem to take these towers. Even with the Dragonite and his supposed like poke at towers, like that damage over time is supposed to be so good in these scenarios, but Fnatic are just refusing to let him get on top of any of these towers.
It's because they don't want to lose control of that bottom jungle. Because Abed already takes so much of the farm.
Yeah.
And I mean, Fnatic players are pretty greedy. That's the one knock on them, right? Is that they all kind of want to have individually good games.
Yeah.
So if you're in that kind of position, you need as much space as possible. And to their credit, they've done a very good job of keeping this bottom tower alive.
The only person on Fnatic that is more of that sacrificial style is Pylai, because even DJ is a bit greedy on that support role, right?
All 4 position players are greedy.
So all the 1 through 4, all greedy, greedy, greedy. But Fnatic have managed to make it work so far. They've dialed down Eternal Envy's greed. Pylai has played a lot of space creation. Look at his positioning right here, stopping the smoke rotation. He knew that was coming for DJ.
Walks close to the missile too.
Now, are they actually going to fight this one? They're bringing the Dragon Knight as well as the Death Prophet from NaVi. They know this is going to be a full-out fight. They may have caught LeBron, but it looks like with a counter sleep coming out from Lil, he's going to kill the wards, and they're going to get on top of both these heroes with a nice double silence, see if they can catch DJ as well. He's going for a TP out, so that's not going to happen. But they do see the Tinker. If they can actually keep the damage on him, he won't be able to blink himself out. He keeps on rearming, going for the blink, but not able to do it. The Tinker ward actually baits Fnatic into a nasty team fight there, and at the same time, it looks like Dendi is finally going to take that safe lane tower.
Yeah, that death is so huge. He was the highest net worth in the game. That is always the downside of Tinker, is that eventually, like, people are dedicated to killing you.
Yeah.
You are the mosquito of Dota 2.
Everybody hates you.
Yeah, Bill Gates is figuring out ways to wipe your ass out.
That is currently the net worth, all going into the research on the side of NaVi. They also have a lineup that is entirely dependent only on the Tinker, right? Because they have a Viper that's not really going to scale for them. Tide sets up late game situations. He doesn't win them himself.
That was the run-up to the Ags, too, that we were talking about.
Yeah.
This time period where you just don't get it feels pretty bad as a Tinker.
Meanwhile, NaVi, they've got 3 cores that are all going to scale in their own way, right? As damage dealers.
The downside is, like, they're setting up fights is a little bit awkward. It works both ways, the BKB idea, and DJ now has an Ags himself.
Do you think that's why it was so important for Dendi to get an earlier Blink Dagger, to be the initiator that is kind of lacking on the side of NaVi?
They need catch, like, desperately.
Yeah. Do you think General gets one of those blinks as well? We've seen a couple Death Prophet blinks.
Yes, he will eventually.
Crystallize. Oh, that's not going to be catch there with a Static Storm. Universe is in a good position to be able to lay down a Ravage, but he was silenced up and it didn't get the cleanse in time. Finally, Ensnare comes out on General. They're going to keep on trying to poke some damage at him, but not really fully committing.
Yeah. They really don't want to do this under the tower. When Lil's on the high ground, that's the problem. Is if you blink in Ravage.
Yeah. You just know he's going to get it. Animation of Vanquish Smash is a bit slow, so you can't cover your tracks very well.
From that angle, when he's on the high ground, you can't overcommit for that either. Like, it probably hits Lil, but he doesn't care at that point because he's still in Ravage.
Yeah.
But getting this Roshan is really nice.
Oh, and he's still got the sleep as well, so if they know Roshan's happening, they may actually have a really good way to be able to
Did they directly scan into Roshan Pit? I think they did.
And did the scan just not catch? Nobody came out of the Roshan Pit.
So,
well, that's going to mean an Aegis here for Fnatic. Big pickup. It's Eternal Envy front lines.
Envy teams and Sneaking Rosh. Name a more classic duo.
That is classic.
Somebody was telling me, like, if you've ever played on a team with Envy, it'll never get you. Like, shame on you. These NaVi boys.
Yeah, none of them have played with Envy.
They're not used to it.
It's funny how that certain players just have certain strategic things that they really focus on.
I mean, it goes all the way back to, like, the Alliance TI. Or when he was on No Tidehunter, I should say.
No Tidehunter.
Yeah, this obsession with Roche.
Well, it's a good time to be a Roche-obsessed player. Roshan is arguably more important than it's been in many of the patches of Dota.
It's even more important for Fnatic this game. They have Tidehunter and Shaman.
Yeah.
It's a good problem to have, though, where you have to decide which one. If you aren't winning fights and you feel like you have to go for the split, then you can give the Refresher Shard to Shaman. But you want to refresh it as fast as possible, so going for the Roshan around the 20-minute mark means that ideally, around the 40-minute mark, when you want to be in a position where you can actually end the game, you do have the Refresher Shard option available. Because the one thing is how you force teams to leave their base and take fights, if you want to go that route, is to go for Roshan once you've taken all the tier 1 and tier 2 towers.
So Envy's right now pushing in mid with his Aegis, and they've got the top lane pushed out. So they kind of figured out there was going to be a trap here in this bottom lane. So Abed, instead of coming back to the creeps, went to the shrine.
Yes, very smart.
While he had 2-man smoke coming out from Universe and DJ, who kind of like just rooted through that jungle area.
It all comes back, like you said, to you can play this like process of elimination game because you know, okay, well nobody's countering and Abed up at top. They won't touch Envy because he's a Viper with an Aegis. Like, if they happen to be smoke behind him, that'd be so obnoxious to deal with.
It is pretty absurd that LeBron has probably been sitting here for, maybe he's going to sit here for like 2 minutes. And it's worth it for him to sit here for 2 minutes if it means he catches the Tinker once. Obviously, that's not going to happen with Creep spotting him out.
They snitched on him.
Yes.
Oh, they got him!
They really did with the telekinesis toss back into the gyrocopter. Bonk!
That was a very...
That was not what I expected.
He was completely in vision. He just got lifted and killed.
I mean, he had to have known about the Blink Dagger on Lil. That's been up for a very long time.
That was such a... Okay, the Shrine move was so cool by Abed.
Yeah.
Then he makes a little bit of a sloppy
Look at him, he's Blink rearming. He gets the telekinesis. His team is still so far away, and now he's completely out of mana. But they got the glimpse back, so it actually ends up working until the Song of Siren holds them all in place.
Okay, they are all stacked up.
He still has Homing Missile as well as Spirit Siphon, as well as the Thunder Strike on him. They're still going to be able to run him down. Zap.
DJ just gave up on life. He's like, thank you for the sleep. I'll remember that. Really appreciate it.
I was watching Lil just burning through that mana. 300 mana rearm on a hero that has 1,000 mana.
It's not worth you.
Yeah.
You're not Tinker. You don't get the perma lift. Hurry, cue the Bloodstone.
Cue it up.
The optimism.
No, break it
really
apart. Get the Ether Lens. Oh, he's doing it.
Dendi? He's very far forward right now.
Well, I guess he's got BKB.
Yes.
So.
You don't want to pop it here, though. Not like this. And NV had a cute trap set up for him.
Not the Centaur. No. Oh, well, that's another classic. Envy accidentally all chatting Roche timings. That's how you know he is focused on Roche.
He doesn't care. Everybody's got it timed out at this point.
Yeah.
I'll check back on Reddit, and China will have already made a meme about this if Envy loses this game.
Agent 2358 now.
Smart money.
He's gone to the other side.
You got to keep them on their toes.
He's a double agent now, working in Southeast Asia. No longer China's agent.
There's a BKB now you already mentioned on both cores. We talked about how good BKB was going to be against Fnatic's lineup. Entirely magic damage. Aside from the Shaman wards. And Dendi, you got to drop him fast. Really need a good Ravage. Ideally you catch Lil in it as well, who still has rearm and the Aegis fades.
Yeah, and they already have the smoke up from Fnatic. Still looking to be able to force some sort of engagement, even though they've lost the Aegis.
It's not the worst timing though.
So to be perfectly clear, is NaVi, are they fine with this? Are they fine with just chilling out and farming away and like not being able to control most of the map or anything like that?
Sort of.
Sort of.
Because at the end of the downside about playing against Tinker, I don't know if any hero inspires like more hate. No, when you play against a hero, is that you always feel like you're pressured to kill this Tinker at all times.
Yeah.
Like nobody ever feels good about playing against Tinker. Because you're thinking in your head at all times, like, if this guy gets slick slotted, he's going to be such a nuisance to deal with. Doesn't matter how much farm you have, what BKBs you have, if you build a Lincolns or anything like that. The only thing that really deals with him when it comes to that phase of the game is like Aeon Disc. But you don't want to go back for that as a core. Most likely this Death Prophet does at some point, I'd imagine. But the rest of them, like, they want to continue to build into damage.
Alright, we're going to just throw down Serpent Wards on high ground, see what happens. It's a dangerous. Pushing in a high ground, though, against a Disruptor. Very likely that you could just get picked off when you try and run yourself out of there. But
that's why you have sleep, right?
Tracks. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
None of the core should be worried, because they can always just sleep and you'll TP out.
Oh, you know what this Ether Lens? I think his spell steal is longer than. Yeah, it is. It's longer than the Song of Siren now.
Nice. That means the vision game is going to be very important for NaVi.
Yeah. That was another thing with the nerf to the radius buildup on the Song of Siren. Means Disruptor is a lot more effective versus Naga. Because you can always glimpse it back. You just have the vision. It used to be you could never have the range unless you had Ether Lens and the cast range talent.
Pi is nowhere near the amount of items that he'd like at this point. No Meteor Hammer on him or anything like that.
Yeah, certainly not.
But it does mean that DJ is very farmed.
Yeah, he's a big boy with the Aghanim Scepter. You just go Refresher Shard next item.
I don't know. There's some people that really like the Aether Lens Shaman, and you get the talents.
Yeah.
So you just you can pretty much just perma Shackle.
But at the same time, like, he's playing with a Tinker. Tinker side lanes are always pushed in, which means you always have an opportunity to lay down Serpent Wards on the high ground.
Yeah, but I think it'd be kind of funny for him to perma lock somebody down. That feels really nice as a
do
shaman.
it for the memes, that's what you're saying?
Yeah, there's some memes involved.
Dude, look what's happening right now at top lane. Double Siege Wagon. They just lost 600 damage to their tier 3 tower. Alright, NaVi gotta be way more careful.
Yes. They cannot allow damage on their tier 3s
No.
against a shaman. That's the position that Navi's in right now, is that they can still win fights because of their double BKB. But if they lose a single fight, the game is... they're going to get raxed.
They are very
fast.
close to a huge power spike, though. Dindy is about to pick up his MKB.
Yeah.
With BKB, he could just go off. Nice catch here in the mid lane. They're going to be able to burst down Pylite Die, that long duration silence from the Death Prophet. Makes things a whole lot easier for you. But at the same time, as you can hear, the Dagon is building up for Aben. He's got level 2 now.
Just got to catch him once or twice.
Well, it's been a long time since NaVi were on the offensive here with just wave shove instead of like a smoke into the tier 1 offlane tower like they did earlier. Here they just shove down mid with their Dragonite form.
That's the other downside about playing against Tinker, is that a lot of people don't realize. You have to buy smokes all the time to make moves around the map. But by getting that pick, they were able to transition this. They do get that tier 2 tower.
They've got the Blink Dagger on the Death Prophet, but it does look like Eternal Envy has already made his route back.
Going to be way gone at this point. Now they have to deal with bottom.
Do you think Aghanims was the build for the Viper in this game? I thought maybe he would go more of a right-click build, an attempt to buff up their physical damage.
He's pretty... I mean, he's got okay farm, actually.
Yeah, he's hitting 13k.
The cooldown for it, though, is really nice. So is the range. If you could force some early BKBs as well, that'd be nice.
Well,
go for the next Roche.
Agent 2358. It is 34 minutes in, 10 minutes after the last Roshan, and time to do another one. Aegis and Cheese available for the taking from Fnatic.
This is when you have Tinker on your side, is that these Roshans feel very easy.
Yeah.
Because the lanes are almost always shoved in. So whenever you see multiple heroes of NaVi on the board, Fnatic just walk in there, take it.
Sad part is that they don't have a great Aegis hero, but yeah, c'est la vie. That's the thing, right? Tinker, great at enabling others to take Roshan, but doesn't really do anything with any of the items.
Yeah. Awkward hero to have it. Because he's very slot dependent in this game.
Yeah.
It's so weird when you play Tinker. It's like, you're so fragile, and so he would be, in some respects, the perfect Aegis carrier. Because he deals a lot of damage, requires him to play very aggressively forward, but do just the item slots. Makes it very difficult for him to use it effectively anyways.
Are you seeing this pickup? Lil? He's gonna go for a Shadow Blade? All right, that's a Tinker Hunter if I've ever seen one.
I think he sort of respects that the rest of his lineup hopefully can be able to deal with NaVi. And so he's trying to go deal with the one core that he feels like he absolutely needs to.
Yeah. Well, if they can somehow get to that side lane, they can catch Abed right now. Oh, maybe they just double blink onto Naga's side. But here comes a Ravage. Universe sets in and hits 4 with DJ already following that up with the shackles. Lil's dead. Next, they're going to focus on the Death Prophet, who has the exorcism out, so they say, forget it. Let's get out of here, boys. They throw down that song.
There's a
and
gem on the ground.
this fight.
Pi just swoops in, takes the gem, and then leaves.
All right, cool. That sounds like a huge win to me. Oh, DJ actually just found another one. He's going to be able to blink forward, grabs LeBron. Now they're turning around, though. Here comes Dendy. Double silence. Going to be able to throw the stun onto the Shadow Shaman, burst him down. Next up, Universe with the exorcism still out. They still have plenty of physical damage. They're going to be able to get Pylai Die as well. Please don't tell me Abed's going to be caught by this. He's laying down some premium damage right now with those lasers. But the BKB finally wears out from Dendy. He's in trouble. Double gems on the ground. But unfortunately for NaVi, they could not actually get it. Blink away from the Viper Strike just in time for the Death Prophet. So they turn, they do win that fight, but they don't actually get the gems out of the situation. So it's still a bit of a loss for them.
Yeah, the gems are the big pickups.
Yeah.
That'll just swing the net worth that they gained the other way. Okay, they just got both of them. Chill, chill, chill.
3,600 gold. Actually, no, it's just the 1,800, right?
That was
one team already had it.
A little bit too much from Fnatic.
Yeah.
They get a nice pickup. They're like, okay, BKBs are down. Let's just march forward. And Dendy came in from the side. They had no idea. They had used everything at that point. We're going to watch this again. The double blink forward.
That beautiful,
Very
beautiful
nice
Ravage. You get a good Ravage like that, Abed is just free to play pretty far forward and just get repeated Dagon hits. If only they had just walked away.
Yeah, at this point, you walk away. BKB was used on Gyro. Everything's cool.
It's like your parents teach you, kids. Be the bigger man. Walk away from the fight. Fnatic did not learn that here.
Bottom.
They actually find a good fight, though. Ooh, quick blink. General. He does have the backup the rest of his team. 20 seconds till Exorcism is back up. They actually managed to catch Pylai Die here, put him in the static storm, burst him. While the still silence, they get him. Lil died to that Tinker at the same time, so it's a 4-on-4. Here comes forward. He's got 12 seconds until the Ravage, and they manage to grab him. They manage to get the carry. Gyrocopter's locked down by DJ. What a catch by him with a blink forward. That may win them the fight. Tinker managed to TP out just barely ahead of a stun. Dendy now has to TP out himself, but he's going to be stunned up by DJ. DJ catches more. He actually blink forward and stopped General from TPing out as well. He managed to make sure that nobody from NaVi is going to escape from this. This is going to be total 5-man wipe. Unless he managed a quick blink. Ooh.
He does.
General. He's got to evade the Tinker, though.
Yes. Oh. I think he's okay.
Not going for it.
They drew around him, but still, DJ crushed that fight. He gets right on top of Crystallize. Crystallize just got crushed by those wards. Like, those wards, they were all surrounding him. He died in like 2 seconds. Even at that point, if he pops 2 KP, he's dead at that. And NaVi really need their Gyrocopter to be in these fights. He's the second highest net worth on their team, 3rd overall in the game. You just took out nearly 20,000 net worth from a 10K net worth hero.
And now that's going to be a lane of Rax up against a Tinker where you already feeling pressured in your side lanes, and against a Shadow Shaman who can exploit those side lane pushes. NaVi is going to be feeling real bad about the state of the game right now.
They needed to protect Crystallize. Like,
yeah.
The fact that they were that split up just means that something went
All right, we're just going to jump in here. General immediately gets stunned up. Pylai Die is going to throw down that song and TP out himself. The rest of his allies get away. So smart play here from Fnatic in the disengage. Not going to make the same mistake they did last time.
Fnatic look very good right now, but at the same time, it does feel as though NaVi being a little bit sloppy. Like, that engage was so awkward for them. If you're not able to back up your own cores, that means positionally you're just not ready to fight. Like, the difference is in the Mineski game, if you're watching that, Mineski, it always felt like they were willing to back up each other at all times. Like, even their supports, their 5 position, they were swapping to save in and stuff like that. You did not feel the same thing right there about NaVi. Because it's not as though DJ's got BKB and he can shackle forever.
Yeah.
That was not the case at all. He got a free initiation, they blew up Crystallize over the full duration of those shackles. So that means he had, what, like 5 seconds to do whatever he wanted to a gyrocopter? That's absurd.
So, you think it's the NaVi just aren't playing well enough around each other there?
Yeah.
Like, for whatever reason, Crystallize is separated from his other 2 cores.
Yes. And now they're in a position where this Tinker is so far. He's got Dagon 5 Hex, by the way.
Yeah, Crystallize is coming in from the side here. They're going to go ahead for the initiation. They managed to smoke around with a beautiful Static Storm. They've locked in the Tidehunter. They're going to try and blow up this Tinker as quick as possible, and they should be able to do it too. With Crystallize and Dendy both popping their BKBs, the Viper is nothing to them. They get 2 of the cores so far, but Universe did manage to escape, so they're going to try and chase him down, but he is a blink too far, unless Lil, surprise, he catches him. Just keep damage on him, and don't let him TP. Oh, jeez.
LeBron Dota.
That was a sick smoke around wrap.
NaVi, go you, honestly. That was cool. And LeBron got the Static Storms of Static Storms.
He catches the Tinker and the Tidehunter.
Yes. Very well done.
Everything's gone. But, they may win that big fight, but there's a huge difference. They're on their side of the map with all their lanes pushed in. They can't immediately take an objective like Fnatic did.
Still okay. It's like still evenish game. It's weird. Like Fnatic did not have to take that engagement whatsoever. Look at that. They're all stacked up for this. Everyone just pops BKB. They're like, there's no way we can afford to lose this fight. The break was applied to NaVi. Dies very quickly. They even grab Universe. And the sleep is now popped in mid lane. DP though, gonna pop his ult, run forward. They might just catch Pi here for free. He is gonna go down.
Laser stops some of the damage, but not enough, especially with the exorcism out. Now here comes the TP from Eternal Envy with damage already on some of the members of NaVi, especially General, who's at half HP. They'll back out.
What in the world is going on?
What do you mean?
It's like Fnatic should have really not gotten caught by that 3-man Static Storm. This has now complicated the game, and all of a sudden, 43 minutes in, NaVi, who lost fight after fight, got racks up at top and at bottom. Yes, they did actually end up losing the range racks up at top, are now ahead in gold. And the team fights with all of these BKBs feel all of a sudden very hard for Fnatic to take. Their Viper, it doesn't feel as though he's pumping out any sort of damage. Like Envy's 5-5-5, but you haven't really felt it. It feels as though Abed has to do the majority of the lifting here. As
refresher shard time.
Yeah, they just walk in, they're gonna get the 3rd Roshan.
They just know that NaVi can't stop it.
Yes, there's absolutely no way.
Exorcism down.
Okay, here's where things get interesting now.
Okay.
DJ has the option of dropping, well, I don't think he has the mana for it, but he can do the double ward, wait half a beat, do a ward again, and NaVi don't kill those wards very quickly.
No.
Not at all. Like,
especially
it takes 3 hits.
He's already a level 23, so he's got the +1 Serpent Ward's HP.
And at some point, he's going to hit 25 very soon, get the +60 wards attack damage, and he's just going to rat them.
And that's like a throne combination. Yeah. Like, you could literally take tier 4s and throne.
The mid tower is only at 600 health. The good news for NaVi is that they have Gyrocopter, who is one of the best at dealing with Mega Creeps. And he's already got the Satanic completed himself.
Okay.
He's prepared for this game.
So you think that's actually the situation where this is going to go to? It's almost inevitable that Fnatic, if the pace of game, they are going to take those Mega Creeps, but at the same time, NaVi's cores are all going to scale well enough that they could still combat it.
That's where the interesting part comes from, right? It's because NaVi can't allow Fnatic into their base whatsoever. And they can't get into these prolonged fights where DJ's not there. Because as soon as they take a fight and DJ's not there, they have to be thinking like, oh crap, we're just going to get... So he's just hiding in the trees waiting for the creep wave to come in. We're going to get double warded. So what NaVi have to do is take a risk and push out these waves very aggressively as a result.
And also get Boots of Travels, which we're seeing every single core pick that up, eating Death Prophet now. Like,
Dendy just has to stand on top of this high ground.
He's going to do that. He's going to break the... oh, no, he got off the BKB. They didn't get the stun out fast enough. The Song of Siren goes down, but the BKB's cast on both of the cores. They can still get some damage somewhere, and they manage to find DJ. They're actually slept up, but they still manage to get some damage out as the Song fades. Ravage goes down, manage to catch all 5 in the bouncing laser. This is not good for NaVi. Dragon Knight tries to charge back into this one, but Abed in the back line still has plenty of mana. Will be able to burst down the Gyrocopter, and they're just going to control up Dendy as best as possible. He goes Invis, tries to bounce back from this fight. He still have the Aegis. Here comes the Refresher. He actually stops DJ, though. Midway through, ward drops. He still managed to get a lot down, though. The Gyrocopter's having a tough time being able to deal with that one. Mass buybacks. Viper is finally going to be losing his Aegis here, but they do not have the Dragon form.
Double kill from the wards.
Somebody's got to deal with the rest of these wards. Looks like they will not lose their tier 4 out of this, so this was not the big objective win that Fnatic were hoping for, but they did force a lot of buybacks there.
Yes. And the Refresher Orb was used, but not the Refresher Shard. So not as big of a win as you'd hope for if you're NaVi. A lot of buybacks were expended there, though. That was the try to save the game moment.
Yeah. That felt like one of those situations where something just kind of popped up to you, and you just went for it. The Dragon Knight, all of a sudden, Viper's right on top of him. He's like, oh, I'll just take this. But the reality is they can't really go for the Viper, right?
Yeah.
He's got to get that back line.
Such an unideal target. Envy was very fast, too, on that trigger with his BKB.
Yeah.
Then once the Song engages, everyone's BKB'd, but NaVi is in a position where, like, well, what do we actually do? We don't have enough lockdown for this.
Well, I love the fact that NaVi are not backing down whatsoever. They're still trying to be aggressive, as you can see here from LeBron and Dendy. They're hoping to be able to catch up Abed, and they caught him with his Static Storm. Oh, what a great force staff. Can they actually keep Abed alive here? He's going to be glimpsed back into the Static Storm a little bit more. Dendy's going to pop his Dragon Forward to make sure he dies. So it's probably going to cost Dendy his life here, but maybe they can still get a fight off this one. Abed Tinker already bought back, though. They're going to go for the Song of Siren, see if they can catch General. They already have the Dragon Knight down for 2 minutes. If they get General as well, that's going to be the end of the game right there. And they manage to catch him, turns him into a piggy. The control from Abed is constantly going to be there, so General is going to die. That's going to be 2 heroes down for 1.5 minutes. I can't possibly see how NaVi are going to be able to hold against the 5-man of Fnatic, but they have to find a way now.
They still got the double wards as a result of this Refresher Shard. I think DJ, they're just going to walk it down.
Yeah.
It's really hard to stop this now on the side of NaVi without any buybacks.
Ravage just straight up on the Gyrocopter. He does have the Glimmer Cape, trying to buy him some time there. They have the vision. He's going to pop his BKB now. Turns. But those targets are not ideal here.
Oh, DJ just runs forward.
Yeah, he's going to double drop the wards now. Those tier 4s are going to drop so quickly. Abed just full on at the front face of both of those supports. Takes him down and forces NaVi into the GG call. And our homing missile stat of the game.
It's a really odd game.
It was.
It doesn't even feel like Fnatic were like super happy about that.
Yeah, there was definitely some serious slip-ups by them. Same can be said of NaVi, of course. Dota is rarely a game without a lot of mistakes. I don't know, how'd you feel judging the strength of these two teams in just a best of one?
So I figured that on the panel I said that I thought that Fnatic was going to win this series.
Okay.
It is a best of one, so it's hard to draw like a ton of conclusions from it. At the same time, like, it was an odd game because it felt to me as though Fnatic were pretty much just winning the entire game. Then there was like one moment up at top where, because of how far behind they were, like, they took every Roshan, uncontested, like completely uncontested. There was nobody in NaVi's like vicinity. The fact that they made it that close, even though Fnatic literally took 3 free Roshans, usually that just means the game is like, it's pretty over.
Yeah.
Then that one fight happens up at top, and all of a sudden there's life, and then Fnatic just get another Roshan. You can't take that many Roshans uncontested.
Well, the new lineup showing to at least be successful in this best of one for Fnatic. We'll see how they fare in the rest of this tournament.
Vodafone presents the post-match.
There we go then. I think that can be definitely summed up by the word strange. Very strange, but nevertheless enjoyable for the neutrals and enjoyable for our panel, who got that one right, of course, as well. Back with Nahaz, Purge, yeah, and
it's not Alan
and Fogged, and just a wipe of the brow, Alan.
I was a little worried for a moment there. Yes,
a few worries actually, because it was a strange. Yeah, maybe it was odd, right? And odd. It kind of summarises it in a way, but. It was a bit back and forward, wasn't it, all the time? Back and forth, but we never quite knew who was... But there was always that feeling that kind of Fnatic were in control.
I think you're seeing in a couple of games today that even on the first day that the pressure of a major is definitely taking its toll. I think there were a couple of these fights where Fnatic they could have been satisfied with an early gain. The top lane fight on the Radiant side is a good example where they had an early kill, they had a gem, they could have cleanly disengaged, and they just go back in for more and end up feeding heroes.
I think Dendy played super well this game, to be honest.
I agree.
His like mid-game rotation and stuff, he was very farmed in this game. I think this one I think DJ's split push pressure did so much in this game. They recognized they're like, we don't have base push, we don't have ways to actually take objectives. DJ, you have to get an Aghanims this game. He rushed it, got it super quickly, and like Will was saying at the end there, I'm glad Will actually pointed out, is 3 uncontested Roshans.
Yeah, it's kind of, again, one of my big principles of Dota, that as the cooldown-dependent lineup, you gain so much by controlling the Rosh pit, and you saw that here with Fnatic, that they could use these ultimates. I mean, that's why Tide and Shadow Shaman and Naga stay relevant into this late game, is you get the flexibility of putting that Refresher Shard on.
And even then, I think the only thing that really delayed the game for as much as it was a couple key kills on Tinker. I think if Tinker didn't get killed a couple times with some of those like cliff wards and things like that, and the one mistake he made by the top Dire Barracks where he blinked but not very far and they caught him, little things like that really helped catapult, I think, Dendy as well as Gyrocopter into an even better farm area where they could keep contesting the game. Because at the end, it definitely got kind of close, and Fnatic didn't have the most carry potential. I mean, they basically had to rely on wards in some ways to threaten buildings.
Yeah, I mean, towards the end as well, there was an opportunity for NaVi to push in. They did take that mid tower, and then you thought, what do they do now? And then they backed away. They backed out of that. Why?
Tinker, just way too much damage. I think they'd used their BKBs already, right? So it's just too much fear versus a Tinker. Because even if you pop your BKBs, you're backing up. They have a Naga too. You get caught in a net.
Yeah, but that's a common problem when you're playing online with a set of other players that you don't normally play with. There's a common misconception that when you do that, you kind of should be pushing in, isn't there?
Yeah, you should.
And that's the difference, isn't it? With the pro players, they've kind of got that mentality. In the end, they couldn't do that.
It gets scary too once the game progresses later and later versus Tinker, and your BKBs are 5 seconds, and Tinker just becomes that scarier monster later and later, over and over again.
I mean, yeah, you only have so much BKB, and Tinker is just outputting this. He's continually keeping the lanes pushed onto your side of the map, and he's outputting this continuous stream of hero damage. It's just so hard to sustain anything.
Yeah, it's kind of annoying as well, isn't it? When you walk into that, because you're kind of like, oh, there's nothing here. It's not really damage. Oh crap, where's my health gone? All of a sudden, it's like it just disappears.
And he gets that Ags. I mean, you made the call off camera, Fog, that he absolutely had a Dagon queued up for a little while early on.
Didn't it? You were a little worried there. You were a little worried.
As soon as I saw the Dagon, I was like,
oh no.
They're gonna lose every fight if he goes this Dagon. This is a pickoff.
He came back from the brink, and you were fine. He literally. Soul was rested.
I was like, wait, he's going Dagon? Oh, he has to go Ags, and I see him switch Ags. I was like, oh.
No, this was a control game by Fnatic. Just keep all the action on the NaVi side of the map, and with the exception of that one push that you talked about, that's what they did.
A little bit sloppy in places though. Need to tighten that up. Yeah, need to tighten that up for the next game. Okay. Thank you very much, gents. We're headed to a break very shortly. Let's check in with the brackets though and show you exactly where we are right now, because there have been other games ongoing. Secret came through against Infamous. That was actually quite a tight game in the end. LGD we saw earlier on destroying Evil Geniuses in a really good comeback game. NaVi going down to Fnatic in the match that you've just seen. And Kinguin earlier on winning against NaVi.
Handedly as well.
Yeah, very straightforward match for them. Yeah, and so that was the one, actually, I'm going to give props to Will, because Will earlier on did say, of all the matches that could go the other way rather than the way we think they were good, it could be that one, because they were great in the groups previously. We've seen this Kinguin team play really, really good Dota. And if they do it again here on home soil, you wouldn't bet against them going far, would you?
It is a best of one. That's the one thing that I'm going to put out there. And I would...
You're just trying to rein me in now, aren't you? My excitement was off the chart there. You're just like trying to calm me down.
No, I think they're definitely a team that's on the rise and stuff, but it is a best of one, and they're versus NaVi. NaVi, maybe, like, they do struggle a bit versus the Western teams that they don't know so much. So I think maybe in a best of 3, I think NaVi probably still has the edge, but in a best of 1, that's where Kingen can take advantage.
Yeah, they were great in the best of 1 groups, weren't they? Before. It showed us you can't. I mean, I think that was best of 2, wasn't it? Because they were playing like a home and away game, but they still came through that group top.
That's the thing that you remember back to that tournament, and the narrative there was that the groups were very unbalanced. The Kingwin's group was the harder one. Now this was unbelievable, an unbelievable performance by them, and it's just, as we've been talking about all day, these games are so hard to predict because with these up-and-coming teams on the rise, you just never know if they're going to show up and play the same brand of Dota on LAN as they did online. Kingwin delivers.
Yep, absolutely. Very exciting indeed. Can't wait to see how they get on in the rest of the tournament. Let's take a look at the schedule, updated schedule for you as well, because we didn't know what we were going to be doing earlier on. We are going to be moving on to 2 phenomenal best of 3s in the upper bracket. Alan is literally...
Wait a minute.
I think he might need to change him underwear right now. We can't see Vici twice, but it's going to be Mineski versus Virtus Pro. Liquid versus VG is the game we're going into next, and Alan is very excited. He may have to change his underwear before we come back. It is time to head to a break to do exactly that. We'll see you soon.
That's right. I mean, he's pinging. They want to try to make a move on this. Pilot is going to swing around in the trees. The invis.
Going to be able to snag up LeBron. Lil is going to go for the telekinesis. Nice play. Instead of thinking, I'm going to stop DJ Shackle, I'm just going to throw Pilot Die up on the cliff, and that's going to be a 3v for NaVi. Lil that was quick thinking. That was very fast.
Life is all about following a few simple rules.